Okay, so I tried the backside of the camera to make this a little better because the backside of an S10 has a better camera setup than the when it's reverse facing towards you. So this is a little easier without having someone there to push the button. And I'm just going to get into the news. We're going to do an article today on the return to work after COVID. So this is to do with a lot of big tech companies that have people out working from home remotely because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, just going to go through what I seen today, dealing with the return to work because the COVID crisis is kind of winding down to a point. A lot of big tech, announced a bunch of stuff. So we're going to get into it. This could affect a lot of people, in the future because a lot of people are moving to the rural areas of Utah and other places that, thinking they're just going to stay returning to work, which seems to be part of it. But we'll see what the future holds. So it's back to work in the offices. A third of the people polled said they would quit on the spot. So 1/3 of a 2,000 person poll said that 1/3 of those people that are working remotely from home through a tech company said they'd quit on the spot immediately. 39% said they would take a pay cut rather than go back to work and into the office because they didn't really like working in the office. Now, productivity is actually high at home, but we'll get into that issue a little later. So, as the pandemic winds down, per se, this is what's happening with the remote workers. A lot of them being told to return back to work, and a lot of companies are expecting a lot of people to return back to work now that the offices are going to be okay to get back into with no real pandemic worries. So this depends on the vaccine, how many people are vaccinated, the Brazilian strain, which we got to do an article about that next, and what's happening in India, and if that strain does reach the United States and what it possibly can do with the vaccine. We'll see. Okay, BBC article. Let's get into this article in BBC. So I did a little bit more research. Every time I do one of these videos, I have to research for too much time. It's eating up my time. But you know what? This is what news is about. What media is about, researching, seeing what articles are out there, what news we can find. Limited resource when you have time, but I'm going to get into it. So BBC said Google is planning on return to work September 1st. So the Google employees are being told they have to return back to work September 1st. So that's not good if you're a Google employee who've moved outside of the realm. Employees can apply to work from home, though, that's per Google. Huge company, a lot of people involved in that. Employees are also expected to live within the commuting distance so they can commute to the job. So if you're living in Idaho and you got to go back to California, it's not going to be a good move to have to commute back to the office. So they said things may be more flexible. So that's saying that there'll be more work from home, but there's still time you're going to have to return back to the office. And, at the beginning of this pandemic, a lot of companies were saying a lot different. So that's just what's going to go through this next article. Dorsey said work from home forever if you are in the role that can do that. Now that's what Dorsey was saying. Jack Dorsey for Twitter was saying back when the pandemic started. He was like, yeah, if you're in that role, work there forever. Don't return back to the office. We don't need you. That's great. Well, that's kind of a catch-22 because if you was already in the office, you didn't really need to return to the office or go to the office anyway. Your job lets you work remotely from home. Then he's saying, oh yeah, just go do it. So there was a catch there. He's a catch. But he has since clarified that the majority of Twitter staff must actually do some work at the office. Now, that's not a good thing for a lot of people who thought they're just going to be able to remotely work forever due to the pandemic. That's Jack Dorsey and Twitter. Microsoft said less than 50% of the time at home is what they're talking about. So you can still work from home, but it's going to be less than 50% of the time. So you're still required, if you work from Microsoft, to return back to the office. A lot of people ain't happy about this, believe me. Not happy. Driving around the country, having a blast, a lot of time off, getting it done. Amazon also said to return to the office so we can work together. So Amazon was saying, we need people back to work. We need you in the office, need you to be able to work with other people. You can't possibly be a human resources type person or working as a community or working as a group if you're online is what they're saying. So, there's a human element that's missing. And Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, imagine that, is saying, you need to return back to the office, guys. So we gotta work together on stuff. Okay. Anyway, the big test is when the office actually opens up. So what's going to happen is when September is going to be a lot of the big crash is going to hit with if everything goes as planned. Now the vaccination's got to go as planned. Everything's got to be right. So if it all goes good and everything works out, the vaccination does protect everybody. No mutant strain comes flying in that's going to bypass the vaccine, or we don't have major upticks. And yes, people are going to have to return back to the office. Now that in a perfect world in the future, 10 years from now, yeah, I can see, personal opinion, I can see a lot of people working from home. I think a lot of people were working from home prior to the pandemic, but I think this just accelerated everything. And I think it's a great way to do business in the future. But right now, the companies really want people back to work. I mean, we're to that point, but the pandemic just excelled that point to the into the future, and we're really not there yet. This was a trial run of return to work. A trial run of go wherever you want, work whenever you want from your house, or live wherever you want. And it seems like per this, that just isn't really what's going to happen. There may be a big hybrid form where you can still, you can spend half your time in the office and then do the rest of your work at home. Kind of like the teacher when he says you have homework, and you're like, oh crap, I got to work, on my days off. But that's my take on this. The future is always going to be up to these people that run the world. These are the guys that run the world. Big tech runs the dang world, runs CNN, they run everything. So just to give you guys that idea on the free press that I have here, and then I'm trying to promote the free press. The questions need to be asked. So how big of a difference is it going to make? How many people have actually left and decide? We're told, oh, it's okay, you can work for forever, wherever you want in Idaho or Wyoming, and then the next thing you know, they're like, well, the pandemic's kind of slowing down. We got this vaccine, and your job really wasn't just work from home forever. You're gonna have to return to the office, months, weeks, days. And I think a lot of people got themselves in that vice. I think that a lot of people out there wanted to be, carefree, living wherever they want in a better area. But the realization is big tech is on the West Coast and going to Texas and stuff like that. And you'll have some in Colorado. Big tech's usually in big cities. So living the rural life, you can still be able to to drive back and forth and stay in a motel or whatever. There's some people will be able to do that, but a lot of companies are saying basically we need you here. So a lot of people did buy these expensive homes next to big tech places so they can actually just drive to work, instead of making a 200-mile commute, which I do believe is in the future for a lot of people that did come to Cedar City. I think that's going to be a very painful thing for a lot of people. A lot of people that did that. So just check your, if you're working for a tech company and you haven't received any notice, I would just check into it. Just if I made a $400,000 investment moving to rural America, and there was even a remote possibility of that happening, I mean, that would probably be on my to-do list on that end. So anyway, that's my take on it. I broke into it a little bit, did a little bit of studying, did some homework on it, just so you guys know. And now I'm going to decide what my next project's going to be. Here we go back in the news. I should be hunting antlers and having a blast, but instead I'm working on a news organization. And remember, content is key. And remember, free press is number one for our republic / democracy. We have to have free press. So support free press. Jump in there. Whatever you guys got to help me, it'd be great. Because at least I'm taking the initiative, and I hope people can see that I'm willing to take the time out of my day, my life, to try to provide the news in a free press form and to compete. And right now my 17, or maybe I get 100 views on a video, I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm going to continue. I don't want to stop. I want to make sure to produce this content. Now, next week I have surgery. I'm going in for sinus surgery and all that. So if anybody's willing to do the news, it'll be next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, possibly, to get a few, shows up. I don't care if it's 1 a day or 2 a day. Let me know. Just message me, and you just sit right in your basement and set you up a little place and just go through, whatever you go through. You might have to hunt down some stories. If you see something you like, just Google it, find out what you can find throughout the internet, and just do like I did. write it down. And if you're really big tech, you can actually copy it off the copier and have the article right there in front of you and have a stack of these papers that are copied off the copier. And then you can just go through them one by one like Alex Jones does. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Well, the world's going to end. Yeah, we're all dead. Okay, so that's what you can do. So just let me know. And send me a short clip or whatever. And don't be afraid, because if people don't like you because of what you do, then what would be the point of having them as friends anyways, guys? So anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later.